We thank God for the opportunity to serve God through theological education. Welcome to the YouTube channel of South India Biblical Seminary, Karnataka. The chosen theme for the year 2025 and 26 is Together with God, Humanity and Creation. Together with God, Humanity and Creation. The chosen theme is reflected from the book of Psalm, chapter 8. This psalm articulates the complex interconnection between God, humanity, and creation. That is, God as creator, humanity as steward, and creation as the context and expression of the divine glory. Psalm 8 is both a hymn of praise and a reflection on identity and responsibility. The poet stands on the earth and looks toward the heavens. The Old Testament scholar Limburg called it a psalm for stargazers. And indeed, it is that. But it also is a psalm for soul searchers, inviting us into deep wonder what plays in the cosmos and our relationship with God and creation. From a Christian theological perspective, it can also be termed as cosmotheandrism. Cosmotheandrism was a term coined by renowned Indian Christian theologian Raimondo Panikkar. It means the essential and inseparable interrelationship between God, humanity, and cosmos. That is, theos, anthropos, and cosmos. This term aptly captures the spirit of Psalm 8 and the chosen theme. Theology is not merely the study of God, but the human reflection on the divine-human creation relationship. True Christian theology flows from a sense of togetherness in this Trinitarian fabric of reality. Psalm 8 reveals a dynamic relationship between the transcendence of God, the dignity of humanity, and the beauty of creation. It is rich in both theology, anthropology, and ecology. It speaks eloquently of God's role as creator and keeper of the universe. But it also speaks passionately about the identity, calling, nature of human beings and the interconnectedness with the creation. The psalm speaks of God's glory. God's glory is set above the creation. It speaks of God as your. This evokes awe at the majesty and the craftsmanship of the Creator. God has so ordered creation that the innately powerless have access to power. It further speaks of the human identity and vocation. The psalmist says, "What are human beings that you are mindful of them?" The psalmist describes human beings' identity as a little lower than God, crowned with glory and honor and entrusted with dominion over creation. However, the dominion over others is not of subjugation and domination, but responsibility, as God's dominion functions over humanity and creation. It's a sacred trust to care for God's handiwork, the creation. Human value is not found in ourselves alone, but in God who created us. And in the creation, we are called to steward. We are valuable because God values us, and because God has commanded us to value creation. In other sense, it means it is in valuing the creation, which is the handiwork of God, that we find our value in God. About creation, the psalmist says, both the heavens and the earth exemplify the craftsmanship of God. This psalm weds adoration to God with reverence for creation and a distinct imperative to adopt a cosmotheantric approach in our theology, ministry, and mission. When we look at the psalm, it calls us to a communion with God and creation. It calls us to be responsible to God and creation. So therefore, it is a call for communion and a call for responsibility. The sense of shared existence and shared responsibility of humanity and creation in relation to God is fundamental to Christian faith. It is in the togetherness of God, humanity, creation that we find the true meaning of Christian theology. In it, we find communion rather than isolation, camaraderie rather than competition, complementarity rather than conflict. God without humanity, humanity without creation, and creation without God is not Christian faith. The chosen theme serves as a profound and sacred reminder for us to remain steadfast in our theological pursuits, spirituality, ministry, and mission, as we embody the genuine essence of together with God, humanity, and creation. Thank you, and God bless you.